Thank you very much, Simon. So we'll now move on to the first item of business on the agenda, which is the appointment of the Lord Mayor for the ensuing year. Councillor Anne Johnson has been nominated. Do I have a mover for this nomination? Councillor Holt.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I've known Anne Johnson for 12 years. I want to recognise her exceptional qualities, which have and continue to add value and support to so many lives in our community. And it's freely her time. I'll share with you just a few things about Anne that you may not already know. Anne was awarded the OBE in 1992 for political and public service. She is an accomplished practising falconer, a ballet teacher at Exeter Phoenix. At the onset of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Anne became the host to a mother and her son, a relationship which has survived the test of time, with Anne travelling to the Netherlands to meet up with him very recently. Anne's a dog lover and has for a lifetime named her pets after Conservative Prime Ministers, the latest being Spring Spaniel, which is called Disraeli, who has even made a guest appearance at one of Anne's election addresses. Anne is a barrister, specialising in family law, and has spent many years helping clients through some of the hardest days of their lives. All part of the skill set which will make her an exceptional Lord Mayor of Exeter. As Lord Mayor, Anne will be well placed to support our communities and businesses across the city, equally promoting goodwill with the three cities, Terracina in Italy, Bad Homburg in Germany, and Rennes in France, with whom we are twinning. With the role of Lord Mayor comes the job of being chair of Exeter City Council, and will, I'm confident, be the honest broker to see fair play. It will be in her gift to decide who speaks, when they speak, and for how long. Anne will be an exceptional advocate for all that is good about our great city. I recommend her to you as our next Lord Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Holland. Is there a second for the appointment of Councillor Anne Johnson as Lord Mayor?
Yes, Lord Mayor. Yes, Lord Mayor. I'd like to second Councillor Anne Johnson to the role of Lord Mayor. Echoing what Peter has said, I think Anne will make a very good Lord Mayor. And one of the challenges that I know she will have to deal with and will deal with very well, and that is dealing with life with here, Lord Mayor. And I know she will. I wish her well for the ensuing year. I know she will enjoy it, but I know she will continue the long, well-established role of Lord Mayors in Exeter, being the first citizen representing this city and making a good show. I'd like to second Lord Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Violet. Are there any other nominations? No, I don't see any. So therefore, I declare that Councillor Anne Johnson has been duly elected as Lord Mayor for this ensuing year. We're just going to go into the rota room, we will return.
happen to be honest.
Chief Executive, councillors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, if you're able, please get standing. Right words from Lord Mayor of Exeter, Councillor Anne Jobson.
I, Anne Margaret Jobson, having been elected Lord Mayor of the City of Exeter, do hereby declare that I take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof according to the best of my judgment and ability. Well, thank you, members of council, and welcome to all those who are visiting this evening. I would firstly like to pay tribute to Kevin and Ian. They have done the city proud over the past 2 years and have been true champions for Exeter. I would also like to thank Imara, the Mace Sergeant, the Chief Executive, and all those members of her team for their help and advice over the past weeks. Thank you to Councillor Holland and Councillor Bialik for nominating and seconding me. It is the greatest privilege to be asked to serve as Lord Mayor of Exeter, and my pledge to this council and to the citizens of Exeter is that I will do my utmost during the next 12 months to be deserving of the trust that you have placed in me. I am delighted to introduce my chaplain, Father Henry Priest, who's sitting at the back there. Father Henry is the rector of St James's Church, Mount Pleasant, and I got to know him when my mother moved to Exeter. He was wonderfully kind to her and provided some wonderful pastoral care towards the end of her life, which I know she very much appreciated. And now for my charity. Exeter Group of Riding for the Disabled will be my mayoral charity. I want to support this charity. They provide free, safe riding facilities for children with disabilities in and around Exeter. The group was formed in 1966 and began horse riding at Powderham Castle. They are one of the longest running riding for the disabled groups in the United Kingdom, and in 2026 will be celebrating their 60th anniversary. The group currently operates out of Oakland's riding school. Children are helped not just physically in terms of their balance, posture and muscle strength, but also socially as they engage with other riders, volunteers and horses. The weekly sessions provide an opportunity for therapy to be mixed with fun and a sense of achievement to help young people with disabilities with the everyday activities of their life outside the riding environment. Young people have the opportunity to take part in such a group, weekly riding lessons helping them. We look forward to welcoming you not only to the monthly coffee mornings. The first one is the 31st of May 2025. I will allow for a rustle while you all get your diaries out. And also to the many other events that will be held during the year. When it was first mooted that I accepted nomination as Lord Mayor, I did wonder what would be expected. I considered what in my life might assist. Being a lawyer, I read the small print and had a look at the precedent in history. Exeter probably has the third oldest mayoralty in the country, dating back over 800 years. You will be relieved to know that I'm not intending to go through that history in detail. From my handbook, I see there are 4 responsibilities. The first being chairing meetings of this council and maintaining political impartiality. Well, I come from what might be described as a blended political family. My maternal grandmother would have voted for anything in a blue rosette. My paternal grandparents would have voted for anything in a red rosette. At least that is, until my father was somewhat surprisingly told by his mother that she thought she would vote for that nice young Mr. Steele. I had a great uncle who I understand was a Labour councillor in Portsmouth. 2 sisters, neither of whom share my views, but I am so pleased that one of them, Mary, has agreed to be my consort for the year. Impartiality, therefore, should not be a problem for me, unlike it proved for my predecessor, James Gould. He was mayor when Charles I was executed, and when the proclamation for the English Republic was delivered, he flung it into the gutter. He also refused to attend a Justice of the Peace who was presiding at the assizes and was fined £290. Quite a sum in those days. My second duty is as first citizen and civic host. Exeter is a diverse city, and I am looking forward to meeting as many of those as I can that help make it so. An outgoing start to my life should help, and mainly through ballet, and I am still teaching ballet to adults, and a number of school plays and Gilbert and Sullivan's, a variety of summer holiday jobs from fruit picking to manning a telephone switchboard, working a theatre bar and box office to being a magician's assistant, moving to college in London when I was 18, editing a student newspaper, playing and watching a lot of cricket, and having some jolly good spats with the Students' Union. I always take any opportunities provided to get the most out of life. Historically, I promise not to emulate a predecessor, John Blackadder. He was mayor during the Western Rising of 1548-49 and ordered the gates of the city to be closed to the Cornish who were marching through the West Country. I know we have a problem with scones, jam and clotted cream, but I wish to make it clear that Exeter is as opening and welcoming to Cornish visitors as it is to those from every other corner of the world. My third responsibility is to act as ambassador to the city. It seems to me that this requires a certain degree of integrity and courage. I have outlined my enthusiasm for making the most of life's opportunities and not being afraid of a challenge. And so I will not be looking to my predecessor, Thomas Walker. While he was mayor-elect in 1625, there was an outbreak of plague in the city. He refused to take office and ran away, fled the city, and only returned after 7 weeks by royal command. I also have the example to follow of the very formidable women who have been mayor and latterly Lord Mayor, starting with Joan Margaret Richardson in 1980 and in 1981, Ivy Maud Johns. The fourth responsibility is my charity. I have already spoken a bit about them, and I look forward to working with them during the year, not just to raise the funds to assist them in their work, but also to raise awareness about the group and the valuable work that they do. So once again, thank you so very much for allowing me to become Lord Mayor of Exeter. Thank you. The next item of business is the appointment of a Deputy Lord Mayor. Councillor Gemma Ralston has been nominated. Do I have a mover for this nomination? Yes. Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. And I'd like to add my own very best wishes to those already expressed for the coming year for your successful mayoralty. I am delighted to rise and to speak and to move that Councillor Gemma Ralston be appointed Deputy Lord Mayor for our city for the 6th year ahead. It really is a privilege to honour such a hard-working, dedicated ward colleague in this way. As an experienced and successful businesswoman and early years practitioner, Gemma is one of those people who has an even fuller diary than I do. Her Outlook calendar contains so many different colours that they make Joseph's dream coat look drab and last season. In her time as my ward colleague, Councillor Ralston has got involved in so many different aspects of the life and the environment communities that make up our Topsham ward. One of the delights being that Topsham Community Association puts on this screens of National Theatre Live productions. Being a fan of all the plus jobs, I remember working in the bar there one evening, doing a performance of The Crucible, and Councillor Ralston was running a raffle. Not only did this ensure that nobody, and I really do mean nobody, left without a ticket, her attention to detail was such that one of the raffle prizes she had organised contained some black magic chocolates, something that those of you familiar with the play will confirm just how appropriate a prize that was. In light of this speech, it's also been a chance to reflect on the contributions that Councillor Ralston has made as part of the Topsham Labour team to our local community. That is, of course, community association meetings, Nello's longest table, something that you all should attend in 2026 if you've never had one before, dealing with hand dryers and toilets on Topsham Quay, resurfacing tennis courts, getting parking bays remarked, speaking to residents about planning applications, liaising with the harbour master about piles on Topsham Quay, to which someone corrected there was an ointment for that. Reporting overflowing bins in glass recycling, bulb planting, I could go on and on. Which brings us now to another of Gemma's long-standing passions, which is as a supporter of our city's great rugby club. It's perhaps fortunate that her term as Deputy Lord Mayor will coincide with another event to celebrate, that is the Women's Rugby World Cup, with Sandy Park hosting 7 matches. And while I consider this to be a great advert for Topsham and for our city, I will be comparing the fixtures of her apologies at community meetings closely. Well, I suspect the greatest challenge for her time as a councillor perhaps might have been the number of rogue E's put in her surname in emails. Lord Mayor, I have absolutely no doubt that Councillor Ralston will be supportive and engaged Lord Mayor, Deputy Lord Mayor over the coming year. I dare ask only that you don't take it away from Topsham too often. I wish her every success in this rewarding role and humbly I move.
Is there a seconder for the appointment of Councillor Ralston? Thank you, Councillor Miliband.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I'm delighted to second Councillor Ralston for Deputy Mayor. She's exceptionally hardworking, dedicated to championing the best interests of her residents, and I know she's shown the same dedication and passion passion and vision for this role. I'd be so proud to have her as an ambassador for our city.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? I see none. Then I declare Councillor Gemma Ralston to be duly elected as Deputy Lord Mayor for the ensuing year. Congratulations.
Lord Mayor, Chief Executive, Councillors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, if you're able to just stand for Deputy Lord Mayor of Exeter, Councillor Gemma Ralston.
I, Gemma Lorraine Ralston, having been appointed Deputy Lord Mayor of the City of Exeter, do hereby declare that I take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof according to the best of my judgment and ability. Lord Mayor, I here before you this evening am truly honoured to have been elected as your deputy, a role steeped in tradition and responsibility. And I offer my sincerest thanks to all of my comrades who've supported me in this great achievement. However, it's not the only cause for celebration in the ward I proudly represent as councillor this week. As many of you know, thanks to Councillor Williams, rugby holds a special place in my heart, and I'm delighted that Topsham Rugby men's first 15 have made it through to the finals of the Papa John's Community Cup at Twickenham this weekend. Their dedication and hard work brought them to this moment, and they rightfully deserve to share a bit of the limelight with us this evening. That said, I must admit that perhaps the greatest achievement of the week is yet to come, when I find out whether my parents have managed to successfully log in to live stream this evening on their phones. I'd like to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to my family and friends for their encouragement in taking on this role. Their support has meant the world to me, particularly to my children and my parents, whose love and guidance continues to shape the person I am today. I would also like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to my Auntie Dot and Uncle Dave, who, though too unwell to join us in person this evening, are very much here in spirit. And a special mention, Lord Mayor, as I proudly present to you my consort and daughter, Alice, whose wholehearted willingness to join me on this adventure is deeply appreciated. And if nothing else, I must commend her for significantly reducing the average age in the room this evening. As I step into this role, I do so with a deep sense of responsibility and pride. Determined to serve with grace, dignity and dedication, I look forward to supporting the Lord Mayor through her year, and with such an incredible and well-deserving charity to champion, I know the journey ahead will be both fulfilling and inspiring. But above all, I'm most excited to represent our beautiful, vibrant and remarkable city, a place I am truly proud to call my home. It's a privilege to be part of its story, and I eagerly anticipate the year ahead. Thank you.
I understand that Councillor Michael Mitchell will propose a vote of thanks to the retiring Lord Mayor and his consort. Mike.
Thank you, Lord Mayor, and Kevin. I'd like to give thanks for your service as Lord Mayor, both as a ward colleague, friend, and user of your medical advice. There's a danger with thanks like these that they can appear to be obituaries while the person is still alive. But after 20 years plus service on this council, I can well see why you considered it was about time that your name appeared on the roll call of Lord Mayors of Exeter, having done the practice run as Deputy Lord Mayor many years ago. Clearly you impressed Lord Sugar, as after 1 year you passed the apprenticeship and took on a second year. You, with Ian's assistance, have been an outstanding Lord Mayor. One would expect little less from an Exeter born and bred, educated and working person from Exeter. You have promoted the values that I hope all of us support on this council of inclusiveness and partnership. Whilst you will recall at length, I expect, the events where you have represented us all and the citizens of Exeter, I believe that the range of over 200 events in this last year covers the full gambit of the alphabet. The visit by the Queen and the Royal Air Force event, where you managed to sit in an aircraft but not actually take off, so you're not trying to take off the position of leader of my party, must come high on your list of memorable days. The calmness of your approach, I believe, has pervaded this chamber when you chaired our council meetings. I hope this style is passed on to your successor. Again, I thank you both for your service to Exeter, and I welcome you back to these benches as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord Mayor, and thank you, Kevin. And behind every good Lord Mayor, there's a good consort. Although on Facebook and such like, we've known him as his consort. So personally, Ian, thank you so much for your hard work. And also thank you, please say thank you to your your family, and all the fabulous cakes that they have been making for all the Lord Mayor's coffee mornings. I've enjoyed one or two. So thank you for that. But I must say to Ian, I do think you do deserve an extra medal for voluntarily sitting through 2 years of council meetings. That is some dedication. I am very impressed. So thank you both of you for your hard work. Recently, I believe you attended an event at the cathedral, and there was 1,000 waxworks made by 1,000 people in the city. And it was really wonderful to see people bringing together nature and creativity. And that's a bit like the role of the mayor, pollinating across communities, across our great city, promoting friendship and neighbourliness. And that's wonderful to see. Bringing together all ages, people from diverse backgrounds, people from all faiths. And I've really enjoyed the contributions made by the captaincy team of those all faiths and none. That's added something extra to this council. And you've been bringing together all our public bodies, and it's been really fantastic to have highlighted the work of force and the important work of the NHS in this city. And I know that you have a special place for the armed forces, and it's been good to see your work to promote that. And also promoting friendship and neighbourliness beyond this city, and the work that you've done to support the twinning efforts, and long may that be continued. So together we are Exeter, together we have been well represented by both of you. Thank you, Kevin, for your dedication and hard work. Thank you.
Lord Mayor, Deputy Lord Mayor, Honorary Aldermen and invited guests. Firstly, congratulations to the new Lord Mayor. Secondly, thank you, Michael and Diana, for your very, very kind comments. Diana, you've stolen quite a bit of my speech, but I'm still going to say it anyway. I have quite a bit to say because it's over 2 years, not 1, so please do forgive me for that. But in my acceptance speech 2 years ago, I stated I wanted to ensure my term was as inclusive as possible. I stated I wanted to reach out to our diverse communities, but also wished to uphold the great traditions of our city. And of course, the Lord Mayoralty. So please forgive me if I outline how this has been achieved. Words are easy to say. However, putting those sentiments into practice takes effort and at times perseverance. But as the principles of tolerance, equality, and inclusion run through my veins, I was determined to succeed. So it has been a true privilege to reach out, and we have built lifelong friendships with many diverse groups within our city, including the Hong Kongers, who have had to come to this country due to the persecution they suffered in Hong Kong. Lord Mayor, please do keep in touch with them. They are truly a special community. Ian and I have made friendships for the rest of our lives, and as long as you're prepared to take part in their games, of which we have taken part in many, I can tell you that the welcome and the love that you'll receive from them will be amazing. The Ukrainians, who again have come to this country and our city to seek refuge from war in their own country. The conversations I have had with them about the last 3 years will make you cry. They are welcome in our city, and believe me, Ian and I will always be by their side. Then via Inclusive Exeter, we have attended events with many other communities, including the Filipinos, the Bulgarians, the Turks, the Bengalis, the Romanians, the Nigerians, and many, many more nationalities, many of whom work in our NHS, and I can tell you, without them, our great NHS would fall apart. And I can assure you that every single one of those individuals in those diverse communities that I have met treat our city and its traditions with great respect. And we are so, so lucky to have them as part of our Exeter family. Diversity is a strength, not a weakness. I was also determined to ensure not just one faith, but all were recognised during my term of office. That is why I chose the Royal Devon University Trust chaplaincy team to be my chaplaincy, to ensure all faiths and those of none were felt included in the Lord Mayoralty. We have had many periods of reflection at the beginning of council meetings, and I hope you have all learned something from them. Indeed, my civic service last year was held in the RD&E chapel, and that was for the first time that it ever occurred, and the Dean of the Cathedral even attended. So the links between healthcare, the Cathedral and our city have now been solidified. We have attended many, many events of all faiths during our period in the Lord Mayoralty, but I have to say, the ones that we'll always remember are the Hindu festivals. They're full of dance, music, and colour, as one of our Mace Sergeants, Ian, will be able to tell you. Whatever your faith, our rich religious diversity should be embraced. As I stated, our traditions and connections are hugely important to our city and the Lord Mayoralty, and I was determined to strengthen those bonds. As has been mentioned, our military affiliations are of great importance to me and our city. We have 6 elements of the military, including the rifles, that we're affiliated to, and I had the privilege to take the salute from them when they re-exercised their freedom back in 2023. I also had the privilege, as I believe you will, Lord Mayor, to go to their biannual dinner in the Guildhall, and you may well be in the presence of the Queen Camilla at that event. Ian and I have also attended many events for the Coldstream Guards Regimental Association, who have great links to our city, and it's actually their 375th anniversary this year. So once again, I hope you will be part of those celebrations. I also took the salute for RAF Bryce Norton as they exercised their freedom of the city, and goodness gracious, that RAF Atlas flying over the cathedral was something so, so special. We also have the 243 Wessex Moty Road Medical Regiment, renamed during my term, and they are full of nursing and medical NHS colleagues. And I have to say, they're an amazing bunch. But I know you shouldn't have favourites, but I do have favourites. And I have to say that CTCRM, the Royal Marines at Lympstone, are absolutely amazing. They will be exercising their freedom of the city in only a few weeks' time, where you will have the great privilege and honour of taking their salute. I hope you will forgive me, we will be on the sidelines, and we will be cheering as well for those amazing service personnel. And I'm sure everyone in this chamber will join me to thank all of our armed forces for the amazing work they do to keep us safe on a daily basis. Exeter also has outstanding links with our twin cities of Wren Bad Homburg and Terracina. And I have really enjoyed over the last 2 years getting to know those individuals and meeting many of the representatives that have come to our country. Twinning is so important, and the friendships of those European cities need to continue, and I can assure you they are still incredibly strong. I have my twinning badge on, I have the tie from Bad Homburg on, and I am very, very proud of those links, and I can assure you we will be going to Bad Homburg in personal capacity at a later point to meet the Oberbürgermeister of Bad Homburg, who is an amazing gentleman, twice the size of me. I must also pay tribute, it's already been alluded to by others, to our sports and cultural elements within the city. We have had the opportunity to see many, many concerts and events and games. The Exeter Little Theatre Company will be your greatest treat, I can assure you. But perhaps alongside them will be the yearly Pinho Pantomime Society performances, which are absolutely amazing. Obviously, we have Exeter City and the Exeter Chiefs, men's and women's teams, but I would encourage you to go along to the oldest wheelchair basketball team in the country, the Exeter Otters. And believe me, you will be blown away by the speed and the smell of the rubber. It has also been my great privilege to work very closely with 3 great institutions within our city, Exeter College, Exeter University, and Exeter Cathedral. We are so lucky to have all 3 within our ranks. I have to say, I was a little bit unsure how Exeter University would take me, because I have been a critical friend in the past of the university. But we've had a wonderful reception. The work that occurs at the university is outstanding. And I have to say, their civic service at Christmas will blow you away in the chapel. The graduation ceremonies will bring you to tears, and the diversity that they bring to our city is of great benefit, as well as the financial, of course. Personal friendships have been formed, and they will continue. Exeter Cathedral is an amazing place, to say the least, and Ian and I have formed outstanding friendships throughout the last 2 years with individuals who are so special to this city as well. You will have the joy of sitting in the front row for many of the services and also concerts. The Exeter Philharmonic Orchestra and Choir and the Exeter Symphony Orchestra and the Exeter Bach Choir will blow you away. And I have to say, I hope you get the opportunity to sit in your chair in the choir as well, once the work finishes. And then finally, Exeter College. Ian and I have been nicknamed by the principal of the college as Ant and Dec, because we come along to everything together. They are an outstanding team. Who's Ant and who's Dec, by the way. But you will be amazed by everything they do. And their carol service is one of the best that you will ever see. I must pay tribute as well to their restaurant, which on many occasions held functions for my chosen charity Force, and I will always be very grateful for their assistance and help. That leads me on to Force, my chosen charity, for the last 2 years. As people know, they work on a daily basis for cancer patients and do invaluable work for them. Force, like many charities, suffered during the COVID years, but thankfully having them as my chosen charity has allowed them to bounce back. Their profile has increased, and thanks to all of you, we have raised approaching £30,000 for them, which is a great achievement. I would like to take this opportunity to thank a few people, including all of the Mace Sergeants, Jerry, Elaine, Davey, Ian, Bob, Leo, John, Grant. You are all absolutely outstanding. We'll thank you privately, as we have already done in our own way. But all I'll say, Lord Mayor, is they are very special people. Listen to them, be guided by them, and you will be okay. Well, most of the time. And as for Amara, you amazing individual. After the last 2 years, an even closer friend. Quite simply, thank you. What you do on a daily basis is just amazing, apart from when you nearly made us drown. I won't go into that. I think you nearly did. A massive thank you also to my 2 Deputy Lord Mayors over the period that I've been Lord Mayor. Firstly, Tess, my singing deputy, for my first year. I thanked you then, but I'll thank you again, particularly for your fundraising efforts. So thank you very much, Tess. And then that leads me on to Paul. It has been a real honour to work with you and Natalia. 2 very, very special people who will always have an amazing place in both of our hearts. Honestly, we can't thank you enough for your friendship and support throughout the last year. Thank you. Now it's time to talk about the man sat next to me. And I'll try not to cry. Ian, without you, there is just no way that I could have done this role. You are my husband, my consort, or as you refer to yourself, Lady Mayoress. We have had quite a journey, but we have made it. From all those late night meals, to all those ironed shirts that you ironed for me, to all those quiet words of encouragement, and those cheeky comments and slapdowns, when I would ask after every speech and every function, did I do okay? You are quite simply my rock, and simply amazing. Our final function was perhaps fittingly Exeter Pride. When I first became Lord Mayor, I wondered how our city would respond to a same-sex couple in the row. I feared there may be some prejudice, but that's not Exeter. The Pride flag and the trans flag has flown above this building. The building has been floodlit red to mark World AIDS Day and HIV awareness. And on Saturday, Ian and I were joined by an estimated 10,000 plus individuals within Pride. As I stated in my speech in front of the crowd in Northernhay Gardens, who were a bit tough to begin with, but I think I cracked them down. There is still work to be done to ensure that all within the LGBTQ+ community have and continue to have the human rights that they deserve. But I am confident Exeter will always choose the politics of love over hate. So, in conclusion, you'll be glad to hear, Exeter is an inclusive city. Exeter is a tolerant city. Exeter is a diverse city. Exeter has many great traditions And one of those traditions is that it is and will always be a welcoming city and remain a city of refuge. Exeter, quite simply, does not need to change because it is already a great city. As an Exonian who grew up on a Whipton council estate, it has been my greatest honour to serve as Lord Mayor for this wonderful city. And I return to those benches with even more pride in Exeter, the city we all call home. So in the words of Frank Sinatra, I did it my way, and Lord Mayor, you will do it your way. And I will now leave with the words that I did 2 years ago, Semper Fidelis, and thank you.
I understand that Councillor Patrick will now propose a vote of thanks to the retiring Deputy Lord Mayor and Deputy Lady Mayoress. Councillor Patrick.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I'd like to take this moment to extend our sincere thanks to our outgoing Deputy Lord Mayor, Councillor Lodge, and the Deputy Lord Mayoress, his wife. Both Paul and Natalia have embraced their roles wholeheartedly, serving as dedicated ambassadors for this council and our city. Over the past year, the Deputy Lord Mayor has attended an impressive 70 events, demonstrating his dedication and commitment to represent Exeter and engaging with our communities. And this is all while acting as a dedicated ward councillor, chair of planning, and with Natalia running a much-loved business. They really do not stop. So the events that they attended have been wide-ranging, from officiating the 80th anniversary of D-Day in Lord Mayor's absence, to attending the Exeter Respect Festival, Heritage Child Festival, shop openings, book launches, coffee morning, concerts and plays, and so much more. And Council North has also been a very strong presence at various multi-faith and multicultural celebrations, including Diwali, the Southeast Asian Spring Festival, and Saudi Founding Day. Our Deputy Lord Mayor and Mayoress have truly embraced all communities within Exeter. As many of you know, the ongoing war in Ukraine is deeply significant to them both. Their time and energy spent welcoming, supporting and fundraising for Ukrainian residents in Exeter has been invaluable, offering encouragement and hope to those facing displacement and hardship. So I hope you will join me in thanking Paul and Natalia for their generosity of spirit, their humour, their kindness and the service to our beautiful city. Thank you.
Is there a seconder? Thank you, Councillor. Did you want to say a few words?
Yes, thank you, Lord Mayor. I'm not able to add very much to Councillor Patrick's speech because she has detailed a lot of what the Deputy Lord Mayor and his consort and wife Natalia have done. But I would like to add my thanks and appreciation. The roles of Lord Mayor and Consort and Deputy Lord Mayor and Consort are hard roles. You do get a lot of enjoyment out of it, we know, because you've told us that and you've shown us that as well. But to manage the role of a Deputy Lord Mayor whilst also fulfilling all of your duties as a councillor on committees and running a business is no mean feat at all. And we're really proud and grateful to you for going about this with real dignity and aplomb and being able to present Exeter and represent Exeter in such a wonderful way. So I add my seconding vote to the vote of thanks for the Deputy
Lord Mayor retiring and his consort and wife Natalia. Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Lord Mayor, before I begin, I must warn you, this is not brief because I've got a lot to say. This past year has been exciting, exhilarating, entertaining and educational. First, I must thank my fellow Exeter councillors for nominating me for this honour, the members of this chamber for endorsing that nomination, the entire mayoralty team, Amara, in the office, organising the diary and marshalling us all at civic events, and the incredible team of Mace Sergeants who have nurtured and looked after my consort and me during this wonderful, though quite frankly, exhausting year. And I do want to add my special thanks to my wife for her support, the attendance at events, the encouragement, and for everything that you've done during this year. Thank you. My special thanks, however, go to the outgoing Lord Mayor and his consort for their support, encouragement, and of course fashion advice, especially from the consort. However, Kevin, as I may now call you, I do have a complaint. At each council meeting, I listened in awe as you listed the events you had attended. I admired your stamina and your devotion to this extraordinary office with its rich heritage, its tradition, pomp and ceremony. But I admit I did feel a peak of jealousy because there was never an opportunity for me to share what I'd been up to. So, sorry members, despite some of them being outlined, I'm going to rectify that now. Here's a little snapshot of my year as Deputy Lord Mayor, and perhaps it will offer my successor a gentle warning about the workload. During the year, including all the fundraising events for the outgoing Lord Mayor's charity force, I attended just over 70 events as Deputy Lord Mayor, yet that's less than a third of the Lord Mayor's workload. An early highlight was attending a Macmillan charity afternoon in Columpton, hosted by an amazing young man called Hayes, who has raised thousands of pounds for Macmillan. And it was there that I met the Chain Gang. That's a collective that some of you may know, but I certainly didn't before this, for the many mayors and leaders of districts and parishes that surround us. This role, of course, brings with it great ceremony. Beyond full council meetings, there were processions, like the Lammas Fair, although we had to do it virtually this year because of a certain election. The mayoral matins at the cathedral, where the Deputy Lord Mayor and Lord Mayor have their own seat in the choir. How cool's that? Numerous civic services, including Armed Forces Day, St George's Day, and deputising for the Lord Mayor at the South Hams and Plymouth Civic Services. There were, of course, solemn civic events of remembrance, such as the commemoration of D-Day, the 80th anniversary, the raising of the flag for Windrush, the Exeter Chiefs Remembrance Day. Now that's one of the days I was really grateful for that road. The City of Exeter's Remembrance Day, the celebration of the heroism of the Polish airmen of 307 Squadron who defended the skies above Exeter, the Holocaust Day events, the Vigil for Ukraine, and most recently the VE celebrations. I was honoured to attend performances by the Exeter Symphony Orchestra at both Cathedral and at Southern Hay Church to see Henry VIII on tour and read Revelation at Cathedral. There were formal occasions, such as presenting employment awards at the university, rededication of the Salvation Army Temple, attending the Carer Conference, the Rotary International Conference, and opening the Escombe Manor Extra Care Home. Educational highlights for me, educating me at least, included Construction Skills Academy launch, the Eden Gardens Muslim Burial Project, which was an absolute eye-opener for me, and the Heritage Champions event. I read at the We Are the Ocean exhibition, which is still running in Princess Hay, if you want to have a walk around and read some of the poems. I visited the Exeter Food Bank. I took part in the Devon Farmwise scheme alongside Michael Keynes at the West Point. I've attended events that were such great fun, like meeting the young farmers at the Devon County Show, taking part in the Sweepers Hunt, attending the Exeter Comedy Festival. Thankfully for them, I didn't say anything. The Respect Festival, the Heritage Farm, the Harbour Festival, seeing the Yeomen of the Guard performed by the St David's Players, and enthusiastic performances at the Scout and Guides Gang Show. And despite the solemnity of the event, the sheer exuberance of the celebration by the Italian community at their Liberation Day. There were events that celebrated the cultural diversity of Exeter, like the Southeast Asian Society event at the university and Saudi Founding Day. The International Cafe in Pinho, where I met the Romanian community and those Hong Kongers. What a bunch. And the colourful and raucous Diwali dinner in Liston Mary. There were social events like the Christmas lunch with the Exeter Society for the Blind, the Watermeadow Grange Care Home's first anniversary, and the Old Bradfordians anniversary dinner. And of course, there were carol concerts. The University Contemporary Choir at Simple Street Methodist Church, the Exeter Christian Union carols at St James's Park, where the stands rang with over 1,000 young people belting out those carols. There was the gentle community of Watford with their candles by candlelight, and the magnificence of the Grandison Carol service at the Cathedral. Kevin, we have now passed on our robes and our chains of office, and we take our places on opposite sides of this chamber. But after a year working closely together, we know that we share common values and aspirations. For me, our most two recent events captured the spirit of our year. The solemn laying of the wreath on VE Day, reminding us that victory over fascism came at great cost. And the joyous, unapologetically loud celebration of Exeter Pride, with thousands lining the streets and filling Northern Hay Gardens in a riot of colour and solidarity. Lord Mayor, I must now sound a note of caution. There is a dark tide gathering at our borders. There's a petty-minded bully to the west and aggressive despot to the east. I'm reminded of a message from the Equality Commission on its foundation. We must fight ignorance, because ignorance creates fear. Ignorance is not stupidity. It's a lack of knowledge, a lack of accurate information. We must respond with clarity, compassion, with courage. We must shine a fierce beam of light into dark corners and stand against petty nationalism, transphobia, homophobia, and xenophobia wherever and whenever they appear. I applaud the leader for appointing a champion of community safety. And I believe that we must continue to celebrate all that is diverse, inclusive, and hopeful in this magnificent city. Lord Mayor, offering sanctuary is not a weakness, it's a strength. Accepting immigration does not weaken an economy, it strengthens it. Embracing multiculturalism does not overwhelm a country, it enhances it. And acknowledging diversity does not damage anything or anyone, it widens perspectives. Thank you for giving me the space to speak my mind, and thank you, each of you, for entrusting me with the privilege and duty of serving as your Deputy Lord Mayor this past year. I now sit down with deep gratitude and even deeper pride. Thank you.
The next item of business, agenda item 4, is the confirmation of the leader of the council for the ensuing year. The council is asked to note that Councillor Phil Bialik remains leader of the council, and the Councillor Laura Wright remains deputy leader of the council. Can the leader please confirm that is correct?
Yeah, I hope so. Yes, thank you very much.
That's a relief. Agenda item 5, the next item of business, is the appointment of the executive and portfolio holders for the ensuing year. In accordance with Standing Order 37, a list of nominations has been circulated. Will the leader confirm that these remain his nominations? I understand you'd like to say a few words.
Yes, thank you, Lord Mayor. The portfolio nominations are there before us. Not much change in the title, but what I do want to draw people's attention to is there are some nuanced changes in the description, but they're always up for change and moving around as I meet and discuss it with the portfolio holders. I'd like to welcome Susanna Patrick in the role of City Development, and she will be very good at that job. She served on the committee, been a vice chair in the past, and I'm very pleased that she will take on that role. One of the other new, not new, but additions this year, which I haven't done for a couple of years, is to appoint 2 member champions. This is Councillor Molly Miller-Bowen for community safety and engagement. And you will see from the list at the back that her role is to support the portfolio holders in corporate services, community safety and city centre, climate, ecological change and communities. And with Councillor Debbie Darling, I've asked her to be the member champion for culture and city centre, where she will support the portfolio holders, Councillor Fowle and obviously Councillor Wright in the corporate services, community safety, city centre, arts, culture and tourism. The reason for this, Lord Mayor, is busy times for all portfolio holders, and it's a good thing. It can be difficult sometimes, Lord Mayor, that with so many councillors in work roles at work, it is quite demanding to be a portfolio holder and to do things within the council. We need that breadth of experience across the council, Lord Mayor, people working, women, men, all genres, to be involved. And I like to think I've got that balance, and I think they will assist the portfolio holders in finding their ground. I know they'll work with the directors, and I think these are important areas as we move in towards, hopefully, as we move towards local government reorganisation, whatever that may look like, we hope, but we will work towards. There'll be a lot of time for the directors and myself and others to be very busy, and so additional support will be welcome, and that is why I've moved in that direction, Lord Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bialik. I declare that the executive and portfolio holders are therefore duly appointed. The next item of business, agenda item 6, is to appoint members to serve on other committees and the chairs and deputy chairs for the ensuing year. A list of nominations has been circulated and tabled in front of you. So I am aware that the leader wishes to make a statement about the Exeter Transport Working Group.
Yes, Lord Mayor, first of all, I'd like to thank all the other group leaders in over the last week in trying to get an agreement on all the committees, the chairs and vice chairs, which I'm pleased to say we've come to an accommodation. With regard to the Exeter Transport Working Group, Lord Mayor, this is not within the Constitution. It's a group appointed by this council. There are no defined numbers. So what I am suggesting that this group will be extended to include both Councillor Hay and Councillor Holland, together with Councillor Whitnall, Wood, Wardle, Knott and Vizard. And I would hope that the council will seek to agree that we extend that committee in that way. Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bialik. In light of that amendment to the from the statement you've heard, I propose that the council notes the memberships of the committees unless there are any other nominations. Councillor Mitchell.
I'm delighted to more than happy to second the proposal by the legal council regarding the enlargement of the Exeter Transport Group.
Thank you, Councillor Mitchell. Agenda item 7, the next item of business is to appoint members to the various outside bodies. A list of appointments has been circulated and tabled in front of you. I propose that council notes the memberships of the outside bodies unless there are any other nominations. Good, thank you. Members, that now concludes the business of the annual meeting. I and the Civic Party will process to the Lord Mayor's parlour, where my consort and the Deputy Lord Mayor's consort will be invested with their badges of office. You are asked to remain seated until the Civic Party has left the hall, and we would like to invite those present to remain in the hall and to join us for some refreshment. Thank you very much.
Those who are able, please go outside and avoid what will go down next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, whilst the Civic Party go upstairs for a 25 minutes break, the next songs will be removing all the chairs and bringing our tables to bring food up. So please be there with us. Thank you.